welcome back to the Clubhouse 54 podcast. We took some time away. We clearly are in a new spot here. Only two of us here on the panel. There's just two of us here tonight. So each podcast moving forward will be a little bbit different. We've restructured a few things and clearly have a new room here. So this is actually another building that's on Clubhouse 54's property. That we turned into our studio here. I had to take some time away to play in a few golf tournaments and get some things done as well. And, so now moving forward, we're still going to have guests. The podcast is going to remain the same. Okay. We're going to talk about people's story on how golf has affected their lives. This panel here could be me and Drew, Drew, Anthony, me and Anthony, me and Tyler. It could be a mix of everybody. So, we're just kind of going to go with this here based on people's schedules. We will have a guest showing up here, guest host showing up. Ian will be in the room at some point here.
I heard his door shut. Look at him. He's coming in. Hopefully he put on something different because he wears it. Oh, look at him.
Did he dress nice?
Big Daddy.
He did. Look at how nice he looks.
House.
Look at how nice Ian is.
All right, you need to have a seat because we've already started.
Yeah, we're live here, Ian.
Said,
so you got to jump in. You're right here, Ian.
I just want to talk.
You just want to talk?
Yeah, dude. I gotta say, this new podcast studio is fire. What do you guys boys think?
I think I walked in the room and was like, "What in the hell?" Yeah. And I looked at your new intern, our new intern, and he's done a fabulous job of what we got going on. Dude, this is sweet.
I'll give the man credit. He knows how to spend money. That is one thing he knows how to do. Yo, bro, just need this. I'm like, yeah, anything that looks sick if you spend all the money in the world, right? Like, that's why I've always done, like, ghetto-ass podcasts, right? Like, I just got a webcam and a mic, and I've never had an issue. That's how you guys started. I think podcasts are the best. And honestly, I'm glad we did spend the money because this is a pretty ridiculous setup.
Yeah, it's really nice. Cameras are really good. I mean, everything's good. Sean, what's your last name again? Morse? Sean Morse? Yeah, Sean Morse Media, right? Yeah, he's the best.
I'm going to just go ahead and throw it out there. I'm going to mess your name up a lot, and don't take offense to it. I may give you nicknames, so, don't take any offense to it. They all come from a good place. But this place is rocking right now. And, we took a little bit of a break. I think it was good. The part of the break was, Michael, you were playing in the PGA Professionals National Championship. We want to, give a big shout out to Michael Block for performing well. Actually, Braden Shattuck is somebody that we should be really giving a big shout out to.
Massive.
He won the event and got entry into the PGA Championship, which is a major tournament, which is changing his life, I'm sure. I think it's something that's great that's gone on the last month in golf. Michael playing out in something like that, how did you prepare for something like that?
It was difficult because the elevation was so high. I mean, we were playing at, over 5,000 feet. So, you can't play Philadelphia golf in the beginning of April and prepare yourself to go out there in 70, 80 degree weather at 5,000 feet in dry air where the ball just goes forever. I mean, it was unbelievable. I thought I was prepared. I put all the right practice in. I got on the Quintic, got on TrackMan, right? Made sure I knew all my numbers. I even adjusted the elevation on TrackMan to try to adjust to it. It's nothing like the real thing at all. So we played into the wind shots like normal Pennsylvania yardages. Crosswind shots were about one club more, and then downwind was anywhere from 2 to 4 clubs. It really just depended. It was so difficult. Like, we'd be downhill into the wind, like 170 yards, and be like, well, at home, this would be like 6 iron, right? Like, and there's times where you're hitting 9 iron and you just can't trust that wind. And then vice versa. Let's say we're like 200 downwind, right? A little downhill. Oh my, that was like pitching wedge or gap wedge. Like, it was unbelievable, like, how you had to just adjust to it and trust it. And it was really difficult. So I played a practice round with a guy from Colorado, and He's like, yeah, he's like, guys like you are going to struggle. He goes, this is easy. This is what we do every day back home, you know? So, and he was right. I mean, I watched him play the practice round and he was just cruising along. No big deal. You know, I needed an extra 2-3 minutes over every shot.
So
just to try to make sure my calculations were correct.
So we always hear about these stories about golfers and traveling and, you know, living out of their car, living in cheap motels. How was your travel experience going out to New Mexico coming from the East Coast?
The absolute worst. The worst. But shout out to American Airlines because yes, my golf clubs were lost.
AA in the house.
But they hand delivered my golf clubs to me, which was really nice. So what happened was we had a layover in Dallas. We flew into Dallas. Some weather came in. They ended up canceling our flight. They rebooked us on another flight. That flight got canceled. Then they tried to rebook us for the next day. So during that whole process, my luggage was moving all around with it. Eventually, we ended up driving to a different airport or Ubering it to a different airport so we could get on a different airline and hope my luggage showed up in Albuquerque when we got there. We even tried to rent a car. Couldn't rent a car. I was going to drive over there, try to get my luggage. Like there was no way to get my stuff, and because it was just the airport was a nightmare. Like every flight was being canceled because of tornadoes in Dallas. So we end up getting to Albuquerque, and mind you, I have my whole family with me. So it's my wife and my 3 kids. I got a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And we left our house in Pennsylvania at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get into Albuquerque until 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and my kids were awake this whole time. I mean, they slept a little bit like on the airplane, but I mean, just absolute troopers, by the way. I have to rethink my planning on traveling with family. Not that I don't want to, it's just for their sake. I mean, I felt terrible for them the whole time. Like I'm getting emotionally drained because of this, right? So we end up getting in at like 2:30 in the morning. Rental car place is closed, so we can't get a rental car. So then we're waiting around for an Uber. So we finally get an Uber. We Uber all the way up to where we were staying, North Valley, I believe is what the town was called. So we get in, wake up the next morning. We go back to the airport so we can get a rental car. We talk to American. No luggage, can't be found.
Okay, hold on. Say that. So you've done all this, and your luggage is nowhere to be found.
They thought it was in Dallas, but it turned out that it was in, of all places, Roswell, New Mexico. So the aliens had my luggage at that point. So then it was, well, how do we get the luggage to you, right? So I wasn't sure if I was going to get it or not because they're like, well, we have to find it and then we have to get it to you. So the first day I went up to the course and I was just practicing with demos. Callaway was kind enough to give me some demo clubs to try out on the range. And then I got like a putter, I got a driver, and just kind of messed around with some demo product.
That's got to be tough. Like that's got to be tough knowing that your clubs are sitting somewhere and you're sitting there practicing with clubs that you've never hit before, the shafts you probably never hit before, or you may have hit before. That's got to be tough.
I actually started to really like the irons that I was hitting, and then that was actually concerning to me because I'm like, man, these are really good. These are going nice, like the exact distance I want. They felt great. Wedges, I mean, they were way too upright, right? I mean, they had the Tour Vans there, and I knew like if push came to shove and I needed clubs, they would bend them and do whatever I needed. So we're on the phone with the airlines all day trying to find my clubs, and this is Thursday. So we're waiting around to hear back. It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, and I still didn't hear anything. So I walked back to the range, and I just walked into the Titleist tent, and I said, hey, guys, can anyone help me here? Like, I don't have any golf clubs. I don't know if I'm going to get them. I haven't heard from the airlines. Like, can you guys do anything? And they literally dropped everything they were doing. There were like maybe 12 people in there, and they all dropped everything they were doing. They gave me shirts, they gave me hats, they gave me shoes, they gave me socks.
Shout out to Titleist. Come on.
They gave me gloves, they gave me balls. I mean, they gave me a duffel bag. Like, it was ridiculous. And then they were like, all right, now let's go to the range and let's fit you for clubs. Then we go onto the range, and they fit me for a full bag of golf clubs. And they ended up finding a golf bag that they had there. They gave me the golf bag, which is a carry bag, and like they had me set. I was ready to go. And I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable to like see that type of service. And they're like, look, like, you know, come back tomorrow morning. We'll get in the tour van. We'll bend these up for you. And we'll make sure that everything's good. And I'm sitting there the whole time. I'm like, man, like I literally feel like I'm a superstar right now, right? Like the way I'm being treated. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm going, never hit these golf clubs before on a golf course. Like who knows how this is going to go?
Right.
So I leave with these clubs, and we go out to wherever we were. We were out at a brewery getting some dinner, and I'm a little down, right? Because it's just like who knows what's going to happen this week, right? Like it's a big
too
investment.
Much extra going on.
Yeah, it's a huge investment to go out there. Like I mean that was not cheap to go do that.
Right.
And so we're sitting there at dinner, and my caddy Nick Biondi, he got a text from American Airlines, and it said, "We've located your clubs in Roswell, New Mexico," and they had a picture of everything
of your bag
of my bag. By the way, I didn't have clothes either. By the way,
because you pack everything in your golf bag. That's something I've never understood.
No, I didn't have clothes because they made us check our carry-ons in Philly because the flight was packed. So we couldn't. So I had to check mine because we weren't going to check our kids because they have all their stuff in there. And the last thing I want to do is be stranded somewhere with our kids with nothing to do, right? So I was like, here, just take my bag, and so I had no clothes. So Nick didn't have clothes either because he packed a big bag. So both of us don't have any clothes. We had to go to Walmart and buy outfits. So
were they matching?
No, actually, yes. The shorts were matching.
See,
I was going to get a matching shirt, but I realized I'd be swinging a golf club, and he wasn't. So I had to.
You know what, Nick? If you're watching this, you and I have to have a conversation because you never mentioned this in any of our conversations about your championship run with Michael. You never mentioned this Walmart run with your clothing, so I'm on you, kid. I'm on you.
And the Walmarts in Albuquerque. Oh my! So each department has its own cash register, and you had to pay for your items before you left that department. So we went to get toothbrushes because all that stuff was in my luggage. Right?
Meth is that hot out there?
I have no idea what's going on out there.
They need a cash register every aisle because somebody's stealing something there?
Every aisle, man. Well, not necessarily every aisle, but every department. So, like, the clothing department had its own, you know, like
That's so bizarre.
The bathroom supplies, like, all that was separate. It was really weird. So I don't even know where I'm at in the story, Doc.
So you guys got matching outfits for the dinners.
So we're wearing these matching outfits basically at dinner, and he gets the text they located my clubs, and he goes, it sounds like they're getting in a car and they're driving here right now with their golf clubs, and I'm like, well, whatever. If they come, they come. I'm not really worried about it, right? Like it is what it is at this point, and. It turns out my golf clubs showed up at our Airbnb. Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm just trying not to. I'm trying not to cough.
So the clubs showed up at our Airbnb at 2:00 in the morning. Nick got a phone call and answered the door at 2 a.m. with the clubs and all the luggage.
He's a good dude, man.
And he's talking to the lady, right? She just drove I think it's like a 4-hour drive. Right,
good.
She just drives 4 hours.
They need to,
right?
They
and he goes, "So what are you doing now?" And she goes, "I'm just getting in my car and going back home."
Exactly.
She drove 4 hours up, hung out, dropped off all of our luggage, and drove all the way back down to Roswell, New Mexico.
Part of you though had to be like, lose my fucking bags, just lose them. I want this Titleist set up. You got the full fitting. They had you up there. I mean, come on, man.
Look, I mean, Trixon did a very good job of fitting me for my golf clubs. The driver that I use is perfect. I mean, I don't miss fairways with it. Like, you know, you're going out there and you're always going to have that in the back of your mind, like, oh my goodness, is this the right product or not? Like, I know that you're supposed to just go trust it, but the putter too. I mean, I didn't have my putter. Like, that's my baby. Like, that's hard to match that putter, right? Like, because I'd spent weeks, months to make sure that putter was proper for me going out there. And I made a lot of putts out there.
I mean, put it this way, Ian. I've gone to Florida and not taken my clubs to Florida on vacation. And I played at 2 fabulous courses and had to pay such an expense to rent clubs. And I'm thinking, just kicking myself. I should just wish I just had my clubs here with me. And so that's just on such a small level compared to what he's discussing. And it's like when you don't have your clubs with you, you just don't feel right. The grips aren't the same.
Nothing's the same.
Nothing's the same. You can try to get it the same, but nothing's the same unless you have that full company right there, able to mock your set, which is almost impossible.
Now, with all that being said, during this whole process, before I was on the range with Titleist, Callaway came up and said, "Hey, can we help you out with a driver?" And they actually ended up putting me in a driver that I put in play that week. That I would have never thought the shaft combo would have worked perfect for me, but it did.
The paradigm.
And so I did play a driver that I never played before in that event. So
And you hit it well?
I hit it. I mean, I hit it great. I hit it really good.
Shout
I
out to
made
Callaway
I made
for
the
putting
first
a good
cut
product out there.
on the number. That's a story in itself. So I forget. I don't remember what I shot. I think I shot 73, 74, 74, 73, something
Ian's
like that.
gonna look it up real quick.
And when I left that day, so I was 3 over total after 2 rounds. So yeah, it was 73, 74. And by the way, I hit the flag stick with a 6-iron from 222 on my last hole of the golf tournament. It was a par 3. Hit the actual cloth of the flag stick.
Oh, and it did it not.
And it dropped straight down.
Oh, that's great. I've done it.
I mean, I would have never thought a 6-iron would have went that far. Like I was hoping, like I'm sitting there yelling at it, like get over the bunker. No, that thing needed to sit. Like I needed to go in the bunker, right, just to have a chance to get it on the
So
green.
it
Because
was
if not, it
flapping?
was over the green into a penalty area. Like I had no chance. So I got very lucky there to start, right? So we get done, and Nick goes to me, goes, "Don't worry, you're in." Right, so we're watching all day long, right? Because the last thing you want to do is go out there, spend all that money, and not make the cut.
And I don't want to interrupt you right now, but I have to tell you this. I was extremely disappointed. Ian and I were communicating during the event. I was extremely disappointed in the PGA for not showing more coverage. You had a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday event. Now, I can understand Sunday with the other things going on, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was West Coast. You could have showed so much more coverage than they did. And what came of it in the PGA Championship with Michael Block, those stories come out. And I was disappointed that I couldn't sit there and watch it. And then sometimes I had to wait on a replay to come on. And it was like, it was frustrating because this is a big deal.
Well,
this is a big
keep
deal.
this in mind. I wouldn't say it necessarily would be the PGA's fault at that point because you don't know who's in charge, right? I mean, Golf Channel is who's covering it, so you don't know who it is. Yes, what is there? Do I think all 312 players that qualify for that event should be on TV for at least one shot, one putt, one something? Yes, I'm not going to disagree with you. I do think that should happen because it means a lot to a lot of people. The 2 guys I played with in rounds 1 and 2 was their first times there, and I mean they were through the moon. I mean, it's the biggest tournament they ever played in. It's to this day the biggest golf tournament I've ever played in. Right, I'm fortunate to play in. I think it was 5 of them. Right, but it's a big deal to a lot of people. So and their families are watching, their clubs are watching. Yeah, a lot of people are watching that event. So I'm not disagreeing, but I don't think that there's somebody you can point the finger at because I don't think anyone really knows who to point the finger at with that on who's in charge of that.
Well,
and
I
it could
just
be a
think that
combo of both.
well, you know what? I guarantee next year they may have a different perspective on it because of what has transpired.
Yeah,
in
but
the
Michael
last
Blocks,
weekend.
he's always been a household name in that golf tournament. He's won that golf tournament. I think it was 2014 maybe.
And he's
He
definitely
won.
pid in other tour events. Like
Yeah.
you could tell he's definitely a seasoned player, but I mean, it comes down to TV rights. Like it's all about money. We all know this, and I agree with you, Drew. It's like there's 2 cuts being made, so there's like a lot riding. And
3.
like,
There's 3 cuts being
3
made.
cuts, and then Mike's saying, dude, it's not just you got to remember this is the club pros. This isn't like Joe Smo U.S. Open getting in, which would be cool too. We're talking about club pros where whole clubs are like that's my fucking guy. Like how many guys around here at Clubhouse 54? Like everybody that was here through that week, I was like, yo, Mike, he's in New Mexico. Yo, how do I watch it? How do I watch it? How do I watch it? Because everyone wants to support their pro to be like, yo, that's my boy. He made it, right? Like I gotta imagine the guys down Rolling Green are just like jamming about
they had a
Braden,
party.
dude. Yeah, dude. Like because they all support him, and that's their boy, And I agree, but unfortunately, I mean, we know the money unfortunately revolves around, or the world revolves around money, and I don't know. But nowadays with streaming services and everything else, they should be able to fucking cover it in some way, shape, or form. But to be fair, there's 2 separate golf courses being played on the first 2 days, which probably make it a nightmare to cover because golf's hard to cover in general with camera.
But when they play out in California, it's spyglass.
Yeah, but you don't hear about the guys that are not in the top 25 on the PGA Tour. They're not. I think the difference
you see
is,
good shots.
What a lot of people say to me is, why are they showing a past champion that's plus 20? You know, when you have a guy that's first time in the tournament and he could be, even par. Like, why are we not seeing those shots? And to an extent, I understand that. I get the argument. But look, it's like I'm saying, like we don't know who's in charge yet, right? So, and I'm sure that there's some rational reason as to why they do what they do.
Well, it's funny to me.
The PGA of America does a very good job with that golf tournament, and they do a very good job with all their tournaments. So I would never say anything negative towards them about it, other than that. Is it frustrating? Yes, but there's a reason why.
It's just funny to me once it got onto the PGA Championship, that's when they started highlighting all the guys that had qualified from the national tournament and, having little spots on them, giving them little bios and stuff like that. That was stuff I sent you a couple videos. It was awesome to see them to actually, say, hey, we've got more than just, regular guys on tour playing in this event.
Yeah, and I think they know who the players are. Like let's say I were to qualify for a PGA Championship. The next year, I'm on TV. They're doing that same thing, and that's what they do, right? I mean, it's you have to get there. You have to prove yourself in order to be shown. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really don't. Like it's you got to earn it, right? I mean, everything I've ever done in my whole life, I've earned it. So, there's why should you not earn that right to be on TV there too? So
and getting back to your experience there, what would you say? Would you say the win was the most difficult thing that you had to deal with there?
So day one, the winds were anywhere from, and this is zero exaggeration, anywhere from 20 to 40 miles an hour, depending on where you were on that golf course. If you were up high, it was getting towards 40 miles an hour. Where literally you would standing over your putt, and that ball would move.
About 15 more than what we were in Florida.
Easily 15 more than what we were in Florida. Yeah, Florida was easy. Florida was actually easy compared to that. Well, think about the air's thinner too. So the air, so at 5,000 feet where the air's thinner, the ball's moving more, the wind's affecting it more. So, we were hitting putts, and the one golf course we played on, the non-championship golf course, the greens weren't the best, right? It's still an early season for them out there. The PO is still growing in a little bit, so they're a little spotty, a little bumpy, right? And that ball would hop around a little bit, and you would get one of those gusts, and that ball's hopping. Boy, it would just take it wherever it wanted to go. Like, you couldn't control it. It was crazy to watch. I've never seen a ball react that way on the putting green before, other than they talk about it on TV where the wind's going to affect this putt. Right. And it was like, okay, now I see this because I've never played in those conditions before. Because if I'm playing open play, I'm just going to not play. I'm just going to go in. Right. And most golf tournaments, for whatever reason, that never happens. So, but it happened here. And that wind was, like I was saying earlier, I mean, it was impossible to pull a club. Like the guys I'm playing with, one guy was from the Mets section. The other guy was down in Florida. So he was a little bit used to the wind. But the guy in the Mets section, he was looking at me, I'm looking at him, and he's like, I have to get like a sand wedge from like 170. He's like, this is unbelievable. I've never played golf this way. And there were some times where you'd be uphill into the wind, right? So the second day, so the first day I played in the afternoon, it was windy, blowing like crazy. It was nice out though. It was like 80 degrees, beautiful day. Then the next morning though, it was like 42 degrees when I teed off. I'm teeing off at 7:20 in the morning. And I have a 30-mile-an-hour wind in my face, and I look over, and it's a 500-yard par 4, right? So I teed off on the 10th hole.
Yeah, 10th.
So it's a 500-yard par 4, dead into the wind. I hit driver as hard as I can. I look over at Nick, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. It's down at the bottom of the hill. We're good to go. We'll have a little wedge in our hand, no problem. We get up there. We had 230 yards in on the hole. And I'm like, oh, what do I hit here?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do now? So, I mean, we hit a 5-wood, and we hit a 5-wood to, like, you know, it was like 30 feet behind the hole. It ended up releasing to the back of the green. But it was just like those 2 golf shots. I was like, I looked over at Nick, and I said, I think that's going to I think I'll make the cut because of that. Like, because it was like, it was one thing I wasn't ready for, wasn't expecting, right? And I actually executed well there and pulled off 2 really good shots. And it was just, it was so difficult because then you would turn, like, say, like, as it started to warm up and we're getting, like, on I think it was the 7th hole. Yeah, it was the 7th hole, par 3. We got 200 and whatever it was, like 220 yards. And I'm like, hit a 6 over the green. Right? Like,
Jeez.
it just, like, it was just so hard to make those adjustments. And the wind played that major factor in it. I mean, there was a par 5 on day 1. This is zero exaggeration. I hit a driver. The hole was 675 yards. I hit a driver, and I had pitching wedge in.
Was that the first hole?
No.
Because everybody birdied the first hole
Other
at
than me.
the one course.
Yeah, not me.
No,
That's a
did.
championship course.
You
no,
did.
You're right.
You did birdie that hole.
You're
Everybody was birdieing that first hole.
No, this was 16 on the back. It was like, I don't know what the elevation change is, and I could be wrong by saying this, but I think it was like 70, 80 feet downhill, downwind. I mean,
I couldn't tell you how many times I hit refresh on my phone just so that like update the score. And
I
I'm
sat
just like,
right there. I got 2 screens. I'm clicking. I'm like, true. Clicking, true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just,
And
but that's the frustrating part about it. It's like, man, I want to see how this guy's doing. And it's like, but you know what? You know, how was.
you should have seen me on Wednesday when Braden was in the lead. You should see Nick and I. I got a good story for that.
Okay.
So we went to
Do tell.
we went to the zoo that day with my kids and
You,
my wife.
Braden, and Nick.
No. Braden was playing golf.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And me and Nick are at the zoo with my wife, and because she's like, all right, you missed the cut. It's family time, and all I'm thinking is I have to go out there and walk around with Braden and support Braden. Like that's the only thing I was thinking, and I feel terrible, right? Like the whole point of me being there was to play in the golf tournament, but I understand where my wife was coming from there too, so I had to do it. And hang out with my family that day. But we started streaming the golf tournament, and we stopped when he was on 17. We just stopped and we just sat down on the bench, and we
How
actually
the fuck were you streaming it?
Nick found a way to do it. That's what he does. So we found a way to get some beers too. So we're drinking pounders in the zoo. And we're just sitting on this bench next to like the koalas, right? Watching the golf tournament, just trying to cheer on Braden. And you know, and it was just I wish so bad that I was there to be there.
The
for him and help
final
him.
day was on the Golf Channel because I was watching it.
Yeah, no. The final day was
That's what
they
he's
actually
talking about,
started like giving like whatever, but you know, I didn't know. So explain to me how many people qualify for the PGA? Is it top
20.
10, top 20?
Top 20.
Top 20.
So it starts as 312. After day 2, it cuts to 90.
Yep.
After day 3, it cuts to 70, and then after
Where-
the final round, it cuts to 20 to get into the PGA.
Where did Block finish?
I think he was second. He was runner up because
Yeah.
Block made a great par putt on the final hole.
To put,
No,
17.
No, he lipped out a birdie. Yeah, it was a good par putt on 17. He lipped out a birdie on 18 to match Braden's score. So if he made that putt, him and Braden were in a playoff.
Yep.
So he was playing well going into the PGA.
Yep.
No, of course, yeah, he was on a roll. I mean, what I think, you know, I've communicated with you a little bit. I don't think a lot of people maybe they have taken a look at what the guy plays with. It's amazing to me. And you said to me the other night, whatever works, and I'm like, I agree with you, but like his putter has got to be from like 2000s, and I saw something the other day. His irons are the tour preferred. From 2014, have a bunch of lead tape on the back.
It's great.
I mean, he hit a shot yesterday, not to be, you know, talking too much about Michael Bogg, but he hit a shot from a walking bridge
Yeah, I saw
at
that.
Colonial and almost made the green, but instead of taking the penalty, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, my clubs were from 2014. I'd hit them off this bridge too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think any manufacturer would give him whatever he asks.
Oh,
for. That's the last thing he's worried about.
He's getting new equipment.
He could probably still find that iron if he really needed it. He
Oh,
could probably
they
get
have a
it.
collection somewhere and be like, here's your iron, sir.
So I called. So when we worked together, I called Callaway once, and they were asking me to come on their staff, and I said, I'll come on your staff, but only if you can send me some HX Tour golf balls, because that golf ball was great. I played that in 2007.
The what?
HX Tour. They had an HX Tour and an HX Tour 56, and it was a ball from like mid 2000, and he goes, we can't get those, and I said, I know you got something. I was like, come on. I was like, I'll join your staff if you can get me that golf ball, right? So 2 weeks later, a sleeve of those golf balls showed up at the club for me.
Shut up.
Yep. He went into the archives and he found it. He found that golf ball and he sent it to me. And I was like, you know what? I have no choice. I have to. Like, how about that service, right? Like, so they have stuff. They have it laying around. It's there.
Oh, 100% they do.
I wonder if we can get a dozen of those dumb balls that they did for Tiger Woods.
The one?
The black ones. The black edition golf balls. Did you never remember seeing those?
No, give me some old Max Flies.
No, these
Hell
balls
yeah.
were like Tiger Woods. I think they had like a gold swoosh on them, but they were like.
They had like the one and the one platinum. Is that what you're talking about?
No, this was like an actual like black golf ball. But and in my mind, I'm like, how do you find that? Like golf balls are white, so you can see.
I would
them.
never
like,
play with a black golf ball.
I hate the goddamn pink balls. Like when you find them all over the course or the orange. I just feel like that's like. It's like you suck at golf. Like I suck at golf, but I'm gonna play with a fucking white ball, dude. I'm not. When I find them, even in the fucking trash, and I'm collecting golf balls because I suck so bad, I will refuse to put them in my bag. I take them and I chuck them in the fucking woods.
So you don't like this golf ball then?
I would never play with that divide.
No, that's
way.
the ugliest thing ever,
Nah, dude. White
It's the
goddamn golf ball,
worst.
boy.
The
Like, I don't
intern
need
put these out.
like my vision's not good. I don't need like this ball throwing me off anyways. Like but so going back to this event. So when you're out there, did you stay for the finish?
You have to book.
Meaning what?
Yeah, he was at the
when I
zoo.
booked to go out? Or what do you mean?
For the finish of the event, like
He was at the zoo
I
on
was
the
at
park
the
bench.
zoo.
but at the final round.
Yeah, final round. Yeah, I was at the zoo.
Oh, so you
Wishing that I was over there with Braden. Now, look, I get it, right? Like, I understand I have my family with me, but if I didn't have my family with me, I would have been shot for shot just watching Braden the whole day. In 2017, I was out at Sun River, and I was actually disqualified after the first round. I signed for an incorrect scorecard like an idiot. It's like I can't count or something. But
no, hold on. Tell us what happened there. You can't just like give us a little.
So I
piece.
shot 72. I actually played really good. My first ever National Club Pro. Okay, I shoot 72. We're at Sun River Resort. Okay, I'm playing the satellite course. Played really good, and I signed for 71. And I was the only person on the planet that knew. So my buddy sends me a text and he goes, "Dude, great playing. Way to shoot 71 today." I said, "What are you talking about? I shot 72. And he goes, "No, you didn't." He goes, "Look online. You shot 71. So I look online. There it is. Shoot 71. So I threw my golf bag as hard as I could off the ground because I knew what was coming. Walked over to the scorer's tent, and I said, "Can I see my scorecard?" So I just want to make sure that something wasn't entered wrong. And I added up all the scores, and the scores added up to 71. And I said, "Well, thank you." Shook the guy's hand. I said, "Great tournament. Sorry, I can't be playing anymore." He goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I signed for an incorrect score." So I signed for. I'm sorry. I shot 70. I shot this. The scorecard showed 71. I shot 72. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're right." He goes, "Well, let's see what we can do." I said, "There's nothing you can do." I said, "I'm DQ'd. Like, I signed for a score lower than what I shot. Like, I'm out. See ya." So that was a good learning lesson. Let's just say
Was that like hard to eat?
hard.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
I drank 12 beers in like an hour after that, and passed out. I punched the dashboard of my rental car. Whew, it was tough. I literally sat by myself on a deck in the woods in Bend, Oregon, and I just cried to myself and just kept drinking and just cried and just kept opening beers. And one of my buddies was actually out there with us. And he came out and he's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Just give me some time, man. I just need some time. Like, just let me figure this out." Yeah. Now, the nice thing about it And my wife loved it because the family was with us then too, but we were a much smaller family at the time. And so we got to explore all of Oregon, which was nice. So ton of volcanoes out there, all the lava buttes, like beautiful, beautiful area. That was nice. So we got to go to explore, and we made the best out of it.
There's a lot of the devil's lettuce out there too.
There's a lot
Ton
of
of
shit
that.
out there.
Ton of that.
A lot of shit out
Ton
there.
of
Sean, do
breweries.
you know what I'm talking about when I say that? He doesn't.
He's a college kid. He's a fucking college kid. He's got to know.
He's got to know the devil's lettuce.
It was great. It was great being out there in the middle of June, and there's just snow-capped mountains everywhere. I mean, there's
that's
skiing
sweet.
in the middle of June
Listen,
out there. It's
next
great.
year, presumably you have a good year and you qualify again. This is your family next year. Me, Drew, Nick. We're going to make sure you get through the event. We're going to have you locked in all 4 days. Be like, Mikey, this is your year. And we're
I'll drive.
We're going to
the car.
Frisco,
We'll-
Texas, if we get
No,
in.
Ian, what we'll do, wherever it is, we'll just rent a car and we'll take everything out with us so they can just travel.
Yep.
They just have to
Yep,
worry about
you get on the
traveling.
plane, and
Yes.
we'll meet
Yeah,
you there
we'll
with the
meet you
clubs.
there. Sean will be in the car videotaping for us. We'll put this on the
I'll wear
podcast.
I'll wear like a suit, pretend like I'm your.
No. We ain't got to go there. We'll just be like, you
Yeah,
just
but
gotta
I've
shave
had
the
my
beard
family
probably.
with every single one I played in, and I like them being there because here's the thing: like if you do get into the PGA, right, or let's say you win the tournament or whatever, right? Like I'm sure that like if I don't have my kids there with me and I'm not celebrating that with them, that would be very difficult for
We'll
me.
fly him out on the last day.
Very difficult for me.
Is
Like-
and let's talk about that for a second. So, having your family there doesn't add. It's actually a stress reliever.
Oh, big time,
Really?
big time stress.
Oh, I'd be
reliever.
losing my mind.
See, I'm
I'd
the
be
same
losing my
way.
mind.
No,
Like,
man. I get to sit there at night, and I don't have to think about it as much, and I can color with my kids, or we watch a movie together, or we play game. Like every night, we played games.
And
You
see,
know,
that was-
we played a new game that we found in the Airbnb.
And I know it wasn't popular at the time, and we were kind of like, we were taking a break, and we could see other people like we were doing on this podcast. I wanted to have a podcast with you while you were out there to kind of like let you decompress for 45 minutes and be like, whatever was going on in your brain that you could just get off your chest. And I'm not saying you made the right or wrong decision, but that's where, where I was coming from. It's like, I want to know what's going on. You're out there in the thick of things. Tell me what's going on. And, eventually we're going to get there. But, I think it's surprising to me that your family, not your family, but having a family there, it would be stress
Relief.
less.
I mean, if I could have it my way, I'd have everybody I know there because that's the most fun.
He would not want me there.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
Actually,
Hey, you want to try
Because
this
it-
chocolate bar, buddy?
but it occupies your it occupies your
Can you
mind.
imagine?
You want that good distract. That's a good distraction to me. That's a good distraction.
I get that.
Right?
I
I don't want to
bet-
be sitting in a hotel room like, oh my goodness, I have to do this tomorrow in order to do. You know what I mean? Like
No,
like
no,
I,
no.
you know, I don't. I've done that before. I don't like that.
It's different for it's different for everybody. But
So,
for
almost
me,
every golf tournament I've ever done well in or played well in, I was like hungover or something the next day because I'm just not thinking. Right? Like it's everyone handles it differently. Right? Everyone handles stress differently.
100%.
Right? Like it's.
Oh, my problem is I come home and unload on the family, right? I'll be like, what the fuck? I just had a shitty day on the golf course, right? Or like I had a good day. Don't talk to me like you guys are gonna mess up my mood. Like you're a better man than me, dude.
Look,
I
there's
guess I'm too
there's
selfish
times
about
where I unload.
Daddy,
on
take
them.
me to the beach. No, do you know how many times I was in the bunker today?
Yeah.
Like I don't
I
want to
got
go
trauma.
to the beach.
I'm
Like,
out,
come
girl.
on.
I'm
Like
out.
I couldn't get out of the bunker today, but you want to go build a sandcastle? Okay.
That's what I did when I was down in Belfair, and I almost got into the PGA. And I was building sandcastles at night with my kids.
But
on
you
the
know what?
beach.
Hey, kudos to
At least you know
for
what
that.
works for you, right?
Yeah,
like
you
most
do.
people
You know it.
Most
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't even know, and they're too afraid to say what works for them. Like I know I got to be locked in, not for golf, but for other stuff, like for business. I'm like 4 days, leave me alone. I'm at this event. Don't talk to me. I got to do my thing. And then some people will be like, that's selfish, but no, I'm locked in for those 4 days. Then when I get home, it's like, all right, family time. Thank you for letting me do my thing. So good for you, and kudos to you that you know what works for you, because most people don't ever take the time to explore that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, look, I experiment with it a little bit.
I mean, look at all the guys that probably that did make it. They probably did. Braden have all of his family out there? I mean, like
I don't know.
I know Block probably didn't have his family out there. You know, he hadn't seen it. You know, he was talking about seeing his kids, and you know, it's like it's one of those things where, you know, like I said, people deal with it, travel with it different. You're like the Tony Finau of tour pros.
Yeah.
You
No,
bring
I
your
mean,
family
look,
with you.
I
Just
I
don't
love
get it
it.
any bigger, man. Like
No, the family's done. We're done. No more family.
Sean,
No
are
more
you bored
kids.
by
I have
us?
enough.
Are you bored by us? I just see you staring at the computer screen. He's so nervous, dude.
Yeah, the intern's nervous. He wants to make sure this is
it's
done
all right.
right.
We're gonna get him out of his shell. He's
Yeah.
gonna come out of his shell.
By the way, all the new social media, all the videos, all reels, whatever he's doing, he has full control of all that. He just
It
says, put the
is-
microphone on, and he does his thing.
I
It's
look at
great.
it and I'm disgusted, but I am also at the same time thrilled that the content is out there. When I say disgusted, it's because I'm not doing it and some professional is doing
Don't
it.
worry, Drew. You'll
Drew.
do it at
No,
some point.
listen, I'm good.
He'll
My
train you how to
feelings
do
aren't
it, and then you can just
My
take
feelings
over.
aren't hurting.
We have internships. We have internships, Drew. We got this.
So when you finished up out there, and you were, you know, how did you have the same travel problems coming home, or did everything come home and like?
No, everything was fine coming home. I
Of
mean, we had a
course.
slight delay, but it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, it was just more. It was normal,
An
normal
annoyance.
bumpy
Yeah.
plane rides from the West Coast. That's what it was.
No, so I was, I was texting with you guys when you were out there. Didn't want to bother you too much. I knew there was a time difference, but I gotta say I was kind of hurt that you didn't get me, a piece of, clothing from the event. I thought we were closer than that.
Well, because it all sold out so quickly, Drew. When I walked into the pro shop day one, I didn't have any clothes.
Right, Mikey.
So I was
Mikey
buying
had to buy
clothes
all
so
the
I
stuff
could
for
wear them.
himself. He's
I
got a
was
full
bu-
wardrobe.
Yeah, I did. I got a whole new wardrobe thanks to American Airlines.
What
They
color?
even reimbursed
what color
me,
shorts
which is great.
did you buy at Walmart?
What kind?
What color?
Blue.
Really?
Yeah, they actually look like your shirt, Ian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're like that blue. Me and Nick both we both went to it. Like I didn't even realize that I did it either. Like I was like, oh yeah, look, you see these shorts I got, and he's like, dude, I got the same ones. And then he got like a yellow shirt with it, and I was gonna do that
Well,
too.
they say
but-
blue is a soothing color. You must have been stressed out.
But I was the only guy on the range that day, like with shorts that didn't fit him, right? Like because they were
They
shorter.
They weren't fingertip. They were like Sean's.
Yeah, they're exactly like Sean's, right? yeah. Like I was out of like an '80s movie, right? Like, so I got like these '80s shorts on. I'm wearing a hoodie because like I don't have a collared shirt, right? So I'm
Dude,
wearing
the
a
hoodie
hoodie.
was great. I liked it.
I had my hat, which was great, and because I didn't pack that, I wore that on the plane. Thank goodness, right?
Yeah, just think about every other like PGA professional like dressed to the ninth there, and they're like, "Look at this bag of shit." from
Exactly.
Clubhouse
No, they were just
54."
like, dude, I feel sorry for. Look at he doesn't have his.
I
his
think that's why
luggage.
Titleist was like took care of me because they're like, oh my god, like look at this guy. Like,
So
he
what
looks like
ball
a
did you
scrub.
play during the event?
I played my ball. I played a Strixon ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he finally got his clubs back.
I finally got my stuff back. But
Yeah, but
I was
what
playing the
Titleist was
Titleist
doing
ball.
for you. I didn't know if you would be like, I'm gonna hit your ball.
Well, hold on. So let me go back to that story real quick. So that next day, when I got my clubs, I went back to Titleist the next day, and I said, "Here's everything you just gave me." And the only thing they took were the clubs and the bag, and they gave me all the balls, they gave me all the gloves, they gave me all the hats, they gave me all the clothes. They left everything with me. They said, "Just take it, it's yours." So we don't want it back. They said, "Just do us a favor. Can you wear the shirt?" So I wore the shirt one of the days.
And the good news is now at Clubhouse 54, we are gonna have Titleist clubs here soon.
Yeah, we're
So-
gonna have Titleist. So when I got back, I called the local rep because a lot of experiences that you have outside of the Philadelphia area, right? Like or any area that a golf pro's in, that doesn't get back to the local reps, so they don't ever hear about this stuff. So I made sure I called the rep and I said, "Hey, just want to share the experience I had. Like, I want to thank you, and thank Titleist for that experience." And he was like, "Oh wow, like that's amazing." He's like, so then we started talking about who was out there, this, that, and the other, and and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy, I know this guy, and like we had mutual friends." And I was like, "Hey, do you mind coming over and just checking out what I'm doing?" Boom, and one thing led to another, right? And now I think as of today, because I actually filled out the application wrong like an idiot, but our application is now submitted, and we're going to be opening up an account with Titleist.
So when you were out there, did they ask about me?
Of course they asked about you.
I mean, I will say, and this is not a lie, I am a Titleist ball ambassador for the 2023 season. I was selected handpicked by them.
Who's your rep? Who's your
Because
rep?
he was bitching about the balls.
Dude, you're not supposed to say
No, dude,
that.
tell the real story.
Okay, so I was having an issue with stuff being added on to our order, and I expressed my displeasure in stuff being added to my order. And then 2 days later from Titleist, I got a FedEx package directly addressed to me saying that I'm a brand ambassador.
That's a bigger fuck you than you were trying to
That
give to them.
is.
They're like, hey, asshole, you're a brand ambassador now. Now, look, it worked. It worked.
Wow.
They got you.
I told you. I will say
You
it
didn't
worked.
share the story that way with me.
It worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
Oh,
He was
Pro
like,
V1, man.
but it's like, don't send me.
What were you playing before,
Wait,
though?
did you put these Pro V1s up here
No,
just
I did
from
not.
you?
I did not. I've been playing a Pro V1 for a while. I used to play the Truvis ball by Callaway. I loved it, the soccer
So
ball.
ugly.
Here's the thing, though. You got to understand the technology behind the ball. The ball appears bigger when it's sitting down in the grass because of the patterns on the ball. So when you look at it, you're thinking, oh, it's not sitting down that bad. Again, it's a mind trick. The other thing for me was the reason I stopped playing it is because I can't put a line on it. I need to put a line on my ball. I've been seeing people putting a line on their ball for 20 years and thinking, what in the fuck are you doing putting a line on your ball?
How did you not catch on to that sooner?
Trust me, name a couple of things, and that's why I didn't catch on sooner. But don't name them. But I finally started putting a line on my ball about a year and a half ago, and I've been putting so much better. But I can't put a line on a Truvis ball. So Callaway, if you're listening, you need to put a line on the Truvis ball. And
Don't
I'll
they have
go
one
back
on
to
the
it.
newest ball? Don't they have it?
Well, it's the USA ball now, and it's a white ball with the USA in the actual patterns, and they have it. They're calling it True Track technology. I actually like it because it's a really long line on it. But again, I need a line on the ball.
All right.
So
That's why
for
we
me-
play white balls and we use markers.
All right, I'll take the bait. I'm a shitty amateur golfer. Go on. The line trick. I mean, let's be honest here. I get up there. I'm having a good time. Take a look at it. Every once in a while, I'll turn it. To me, it's like I'm looking at that ball, just trying to get it in the hole. I don't really give a fuck.
Well, there's a lot of variables.
I don't
Before
look-
you start here, let me
I don't
let
look
me
at the
ask,
line.
Because
let
I
me
can
ask.
get very
Before-
technical with this
before-
conversation.
No, I want to know. I want to
But
know.
before you start, can you get in like the catcher's position to look behind the ball
Can I?
with your knees?
Oh, my knees. My weight? It hurts. It's a long way down. I just turned 40 on the other day, so yeah.
Don't even talk about it. I'm 44. Like you can't use a number on me now. If you
fair
can't
Oh,
get in the
God.
catcher's position behind the ball to line it up, that is going to be a problem. I had somebody that I teach say, "No, I can't bend over to line the ball up," and I'm like, "Well, I guess you're going to have to not line it up." I mean, like you have to get behind the ball.
What line are we putting it on?
Where you see the break, the way you see it going into the hole.
He doesn't read break.
Nah, dude, fucking mini golf, bro. I just smoked my fucking kids down the beach the other day, dude. I won. I beat Dan, Christine, and Wayne, and all my kids the other day, and Dan's kids. I fucking beat them all at mini golf, dude.
Of course he did, right? Like that's
true.
true. True. You have to be able to read greens in order to use a line. Then
So that's the reason. So you use it. I was teaching my 2 9-year-olds not my personal 9, my students, lining the ball up, and then there's a reason they put a line on the back of the putter, folks. Yeah. It's not rocket science. They put a line on the back of the putter so you can line up the line on your ball, and you line that up with your putting stroke, and generally it goes in the hole. Come on, it's not rocket science. But let's turn it over to Mr. Little, and he's going to turn it into Chinese rocket science.
no, I'm not. But that's what it comes down to. One, can you read the green?
Yep.
Right. So if you can read it, then are you capable of putting that line to where you're reading the green?
So you're putting
right. Like some people can't. Like think about. I mean, if you're
you can't.
I'll tell you, the only way I can really read breaks is when there's water nearby, because I know it always falls to 9 times out of 10 it falls to the water. So I at least got that much going for me.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you can't predict how fast that golf ball is going to come off your putter, then there's no reason. Now, all right. Let me take that back. There is a reason, because at least they'll keep you near it, right? But the line on the ball, I mean, think about it. If you're off 1 degree and your speed is a half a degree too slow or too fast, you're missing the putt unless you read it wrong. right? So yeah, will it help people? Yes, it will help people, but
I'm more
for
of a
that to
feeler.
be
Just get
for
up
that
there
to
and
work
feel it.
efficiently, you better know how hard you're hitting that ball every single time. That's what it
And to be
comes down
fair,
to at the end
like
of the day.
my golf experience and exposure is very limited until I decided to invest in a golf studio. And now that we've done that, I'm mind blown behind what goes into it. Because I don't know, I get out there and it's just like, man, that guy's so good. He just feels it. He just knows. And like I get out there, I'm like, yeah, I'll just feel it and know it, and it doesn't.
And I also
translate.
tell people all the
Does not
time, Ian,
translate.
No.
I tell people all the time, even when you're on the tee, if you have a line on your ball, it gives you an idea of where you want to start the ball out at. You know,
Yeah.
so you look at your swing and you're saying, okay, if my aiming point is over here, it helps you do that. So again, Callaway's the only one that really does it. With the triple track technology, they put the lines on the ball, so you don't even need a marker. So you're saving yourself 98 cents. You don't need a marker for that.
What
But
do you mean? I use a quarter, 25 cents.
Yeah.
what?
You said saving yourself 98 cents. What is that for the ball marker?
Yeah. No, for the marker.
Oh, the marker.
The actual
Got it.
marker.
So you
Got
don't
it.
have to put the line on it. Follow me, kid. Like, come on.
You weren't
so-
following me earlier. Easy, all right?
I've been following you for a long time. I've been on your trail. But again, it helps people set that up for it. And I think a lot of people don't even think about it. They just get up behind it and are like, all right, I'm just going to just try to get it up to the hole. I mean, if you look at it, there's a reason people are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a difference. Like when we're playing like pairs and we're playing money, and you were trying to hustle us in Florida and
I did hustle
whatever
you.
else. There's definitely a different mindset than just going out. Most of the time, I go out and fuck off. You guys are competition playing, and I expect you guys to be that much better, that much more squared away, and be that much more dialed in, right? Like you know exactly. Oh, just hit it 168. I'm like, do you really think you control that club to exactly 168? But then they drop it like within a foot. And I'm like, all right, fuck you. And I just walk away, right? But again, I think it goes back to feel and line and everything else. And it's really just repetitions. I've never hit so many golf balls in my life until being here. But I definitely see a difference when I actually strike the ball.
You hit a lot in Florida, though, didn't you?
I hit every single shot. I took every single footstep I possibly could take. I was a fucking mess. But you know what? I figured it. I got back. A couple
have a
Instagram
few
reels
videos
later,
of
I
it.
figured it out, dude. We're good.
Dude, I had that. You know, I don't mean to sway
Nah,
from
let her
his championship, but our Florida trip was something that I will remember for a while. You know, I think we need to definitely do it again. The crew was great. We all kind of like glued together.
The best part of the trip was playing 9 holes as an eightsome.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, I don't know many people that have ever done that. Like other than like if you're at like a really like slow private
Shitty
club,
course.
right?
I mean, we
or
were
a
at a
really
decent-
shitty course.
We were
right?
at a
Like,
decent course, dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
a great golf
I
course.
didn't play great, but when we started playing as an eightsome, I think it was on the last day. I think the dagger was the one that I stuck to like 4 feet,
yeah.
and then I stepped up, and Sean's gonna put in a little nice tribute video, so you'll see it. I missed the putt, and then looked up.
it's
at the
because he
sky.
didn't use the line on his ball.
Yeah.
No,
Dude, line was
no,
off, dude.
no.
I used to use the 97-cent marker, not the
Nope.
98-cent
No,
one.
I will say it was because of there were a lot of these that
There
I
was a lot
Is that
consumed.
what it was? It wasn't the pressure of all of us breathing
no.
down.
Hey,
our
do you
no,
neck?
drink
no.
them in college? You're not into the seltzer game? Good.
You need to
Be a
get
man.
Into, you
Thank
need
you.
to get into the high noons because I'm telling you, Sean, you can get a lot of tail drinking the tequila one, especially the Latin girls will love you because they'll think you can drink tequila. You know, but let's get back to so you finished up with that, and where are you now with your in the Philly section, and what's next for Michael Little playing golf in the area?
Where am I in the Philly section?
Because I know I heard you say Braden reached out and was talking about how many points he was only
this is
ahead
how
of you.
great of a person Braden is, right?
Exactly.
So him and I we've been talking a lot, right? We've been friends. He's on the podcast.
Yep.
Right. He's helped me with my golf swing. I helped him with his putter, right? Like he sends me a text. What was it? I think it was, when did I text you this? Was it
It was
before the night? It was like the night before the PGA, or maybe it was It was like after round 1 of the PGA
It was
Championship.
like Friday night. I think it was like Friday night.
Yeah, it was like Friday night. He sends me this text and he said, "How are you not second on the points list in Philadelphia?" Like that's what he's looking at. Like that's what he's doing. Like while he's at that event. Like just kind of it goes to show you like everything he's doing, everything that he says. Like it's all real. Like he's as real as it gets.
And to be clear, like I think we kind of glazed over it. Braden from Rolling Green, who was on this podcast.
His last name is Shattuck.
Shattuck. I didn't want to butcher it. Braden Shattuck was on this podcast. He's done some of our Clubhouse events for us. Like, very good dude. He won
The PGA Professionals Championship.
PGA Professionals Championship. And I got him 6 exemptions.
6 exemptions on the PGA Tour.
A nice payday.
Great payday.
And then 2 or an automatic skip the qualifier round for the Open and the British Open. For the U.S. Open and the British Open.
I believe, yes.
So essentially, he's got almost 8 exemptions.
Well,
6 and a half.
He's got to get in those, but he had 7 basically because of the PGA Championship as well.
So he's got a legit chance. He's got a legit chance here on out to.
And all those tour events are next year, so he has time to prepare as well. He's not just getting thrown into it like Michael Block. Like honestly, like I expected him to play well because he's a really good golfer. Right? He's a great golfer. But it's understandable why he didn't play that well in the round 1 of the Colonial, right?
He's out of gas right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be tired.
But he only got 1 exemption, right?
No, he got 2. He got that and
I'm saying from the PGA, the one that Braden won, he only
only got into the
19
PGA.
guys only got
only
one
got the
exemption.
PGA.
Yes, the other 19 guys only get into the PGA.
Right, and then he got an exemption into there, and since he hit top 20 there, then they gave him another exemption to the
He got
next
another
event.
2 exemptions.
Yeah.
And he'll probably get more as the year goes on.
I don't mean to interrupt, but did somebody with subwoofers moving?
Yeah, dude, someone's bumping.
Man,
We're on Elm Street, babe. Let me tell you.
we
If
are.
I look-
We're
if
on
I go-
LMAV, so
If I go out there and it's somebody that's going into the clubhouse,
it is. It is. I bet you it's probably TC.
Is there a car pulling in?
It's definitely TC.
I mean, it's gotten like
Although he calls himself CT, which is weird, but his initials are TC.
no car out there. My car's not on.
No,
Oh, that's
it's
not my
definitely
car.
not my car. This isn't. Or
Okay.
it should be Dan's
So-
Volkswagen
Yeah.
Rabbit from back in the day.
So anyway, sorry to skip through. So yeah, so I just wanted to be clear that Braden.
No, I mean I don't think. I mean I wanted to touch on that a little bit at the end, but no, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, what
and
Braden did is remarkable. I mean, it's not. Look, it's not a surprise though. I mean, the guy's been a stud his whole life at golf. He just absolutely whooped all of us last year in the Philly PGA. Won like 7 times and won Player of the Year. Like
First full year too,
yeah, well, no, technically I think it was his second full year technically.
but still.
But I mean, he had a chance. He had a great chance to win the Philly Open. He didn't win that. He had a great chance to win our section championship as well. Like it's not like all of a sudden he came out of nowhere. Like he's been playing really solid golf for a long time. I'm actually like, I was flat. Where he called me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to be my partner in the Winter League this year?" And I was like, "You're asking me?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like, yeah, like I know we're friends and all, but like. I figured like he'd want to like call somebody that's like this that hits it as far as he does, you know, like kind of like blend that way, right? Because I don't hit it very far. He hits it like 60 by me. Remember he was in Clubhouse doing that presentation.
60. So I've seen him carry it like 350.
He hits it 60 by me easily
Yeah,
in the air without even trying.
What was his
Easily.
swing speed that day? He was doing it. So I had a group of investors here at Clubhouse, and every month we kind of do like some months we do like a little real estate presentation, other months we do like a little golf presentation. And this month he's like, "Hey, I'll get Braden to come by and just talk some shit. He likes real estate. I'll get him to do a little presentation on swing speed, dude." And he got on the track, man, and just started ripping. I mean, his driver was something stupid.
I saw a couple of the swings, and it was like it's very very soothing to watch him swing the golf club because he's not like mashing it.
Well, he was talking about how to generate speed is what he was talking about, right? And so he starts off with like it was like 110 mile an hour swing speed. He hit it like it was like 290 or something like that, right? He goes, "All right, now do this, right?" And I'm not gonna talk about what he said, right? But he's like, "All right, now we're gonna do this." He goes, "And we're gonna pump this up to like 120, right?" Carries it like 305. He's like, "All right, I'll probably get this one around 130 mile an hour club head speed." He's like, "I think I'll probably get somewhere around 190 ball speed." And he did, and he carried it 332. It went 350 something total. And it was just amazing. Everyone in the room just was like, their jaws just dropped. And they're like, how did he just go how did he adjust his golf swing by 20 miles an hour like that, right? Like, and they were all amazed by it. And later on that day, like everyone like came up to me and were like, who is this guy? Like, and now he goes and wins the national championship, right? And for all I know, I mean, I haven't talked to him about this, but like he probably made all 3 of those swings in that golf tournament when he had to, and it's just it's incredible.
I think it's great that he won with a Makefield putter.
I think it's really good for Makefield. I think it's very good for the company. They're a young company, so I think it's really good for them. I'm happy that I was the one that fit him for that Makefield putter.
That's what I was about to say. It's great that you were the one responsible.
It was cool. Like when we launched Makefield putters in 2021. Wait, what year was it? Jesus, I'm drawing a blank here. 2022. Sorry, January of 2022. When we launched that putter, he called me and he goes, "Hey," he's like, "I just want to like support. Like, what can I do like to help out? Like, this seems interesting to me. Like, can you come down to his club at the time and can you fit me for one of these?" And we went down there with, I went like with like 2 bags of putters and fit him up for it. And then and he putted well with it, right? And he won a lot of tournaments last year. And then over the winter, he goes, "Hey, can we take a look at this again?" So I ended up getting him a new putter, new neck on the putter, and he liked it, right? But he wasn't like 100% confident with it. So then we started talking about like impact ratios and things like that and how that affects the ball roll and all that, right? And then that's like he ended up playing our first golf tournament. It was a partners event without it. And then he went back to it and started putting well again after fully understanding it. But he even said to me, he's like, "Man, my mind is like blown by this. Like, you really got in my head by like giving me all that information. Like, because it is a lot. Like, you get on that Quintic over there. I mean, it's a ton of information. And, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to say that what I did helped him at all because Braden's a great player and he's going to figure a lot of the stuff out on his own for sure. And he figured it all out on his own. And,
but he figured out a lot of it on his own. But we also have the data to support what he's thinking or what you're explaining to him. And then he goes and tries it on the golf course and he says, "Michael, I need a lesson with you," books a lesson, comes back, and he's like, "Holy shit, dude. Like, I thought this was right on the golf course. I understand what you were saying, but now I can actually see it on a computer screen, and boom, there's the data." I mean, that's huge. And I think as an amateur player, the shit still blows my mind. I even catch myself looking – like when I hit a ball now, I immediately look at the ball speed, like a 7-iron. I'm like, all right, I just got to get the 120, and I know if it's going to be a good shot or not just looking at that ball speed. And that's just hanging around here with you guys, and it's like, man, those little things, it's like, oh, yeah, all right, I got to get warm. I got to do these things. I got to make these repetitions, and that's the difference.
And that's what we do. That's what I do with all the members. That's what I do with all my lessons. I educate people on what they need to be looking at. It's not necessarily – I don't sit there and say you have to swing this way, right? Okay, hey, we need to get your path here. We need to get your ball speed here. We need to get your attack angle here. Now let's work through this together and let's get you to those numbers. Then they start to make it their own versus me saying, okay, let's go over here and we're gonna put a tee in the ground. I want you to hit that tee in front of the ball. Okay, yeah, that stuff helps. But if they don't understand what's actually happening and have some kind of data to support that, it's hard for them to understand that, right? And that's really why I love what we're doing in Clubhouse. I love the indoor simulator because of that reason. You have that feedback right there. Like, it's validating what we're doing. When like TrackMan first came out, I really didn't know a lot of what I was doing on it, right? Like, you have to learn that device, just like you got to learn the Quintic. And it scared me because I'm like, man, this device is, if I don't tell this person the right thing, the device is going to identify it and they're not going to hit it as good. It's going to make me look bad, right? So that's what I love the most about it, is it validates instruction and it validates practice on what you're doing to make sure that you are becoming more consistent and becoming a better golfer.
Well, and I think for you in Clubhouse, and Drew, I'd be interested to hear your opinion, is like when you talk about like educating, I think that's huge, right? Because it's like, all right, first off, Drew's a lefty, so I can't even swing how Drew swings, right? But if Drew educates me what he's thinking through that swing, and then we go on TrackMan and he's like, I'm thinking about this, and when I want you to swing, I want you to think about this one thing, and I should see this on the TrackMan. And I see Mikey do that a lot in Clubhouse. And Sean, in your short time here, just documenting some of the stuff that's going on, I think you've noticed it's just like consistent. I want your hands to here, or I want you to think about this when you hit it, and you should generate this ball speed or this swing tracker. What do you call that? Like the inside to out, swing track, right?
Path.
The swing path. Like I noticed a lot. He's talking about if you do this or if you think about doing this, and he's educating, then the numbers come out. And I think that's an easier way to teach because, again, I can't swing. It's impossible. I can't swing left-handed. There's no way I can swing like you.
Well, but there's a reason why I swing left-handed because I can't swing right-handed. You know, I think a lot of times, even when I teach today, I kind of go back to growing up and thinking, looking in the mirror, looking at somebody, because I played with everybody that I played with was right-handed. Everybody that would play with me was right-handed. So I'm watching them swing, and so I'm trying to mimic what they're doing, but from the other side. So I'm almost like it's in a mirror for me. You know, so for a lot of people, you know, I can stand being left-handed opposite of a right-handed player, and you can probably think
I
about
actually
this.
really enjoy teaching left-handed golfers.
Because you can see.
I feel like I have more success with lefties for whatever reason. Like,
because it's almost
I
a
can
mirror
get
image.
I can get through to them faster. Not more success, but I can just get through to them faster on a left-handed golfer for whatever reason.
What the fuck's wrong with this project?
Because we haven't, because I haven't committed.
Right there on the ground.
Here's the thing: is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
That's
okay?
right. That's right.
When the student is
100%.
ready, the teacher will appear.
That's anywhere in life. Yes, sir.
And so I have yet to, you know, Michael and I have had one lesson, a couple lessons, and I've, you know, it's not what he says or what I do. It's, and I hate this when I teach. It's telling somebody and they do it for 10 minutes and then 30 minutes later they go back to doing what they were doing before.
Yep.
And I do that. I'm guilty of that. And, I try to work on my game being in the position that I am in the business that I'm in. But, at the same time, it's difficult, to carve time out of your day in the business and how busy we are to work on my game. But I will tell you this. Went out shot a 74 the other day.
Good for you.
I missed about 5 or 6 birdie putts. But I need to get in the studio to work on getting off the tee better. When we were in Florida, I had a problem getting off the tee. In fact, when Sean sees these videos, we're going to make sure we edit all the tops that I had. But, it's stuff like that. It's like, we got to lean on each other. We got to use what we have at our resources, not using you as a resource, but we're using each other as a gift that we have. You've got a certain gift.
All right, Drew, I have a question. I hate to interrupt you, but I have a question. How many golf pros have you reached out to about your golf swing or your game in general? Can you count them?
Oh, yeah, like 2.
Yeah. You know how many I've reached out to?
I don't want to know.
It's like 30.
Yeah, I know. Because
you just pick and pick and pick.
I know. I haven't found 28 other guys to feel comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter. They want to give it to you.
Yeah,
they want to help you.
But see, the way
there's
you
nothing
phrased it
better
right
than
there
watching
doesn't feel
success, man.
I don't want to hear another man say he wants to give it to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but dude, they want to see you succeed.
No,
everyone wants to see it. And it's and as a golf pro, when another golf pro calls you, because it's been happening a lot lately for me in the last couple of months, it is very rewarding. It really is, because like you're teaching amateurs all the time, right? But then when a golf pro calls you and this person understands what's happening, right? And they're asking you to help them with their swing or with their putting or with whatever it is, right? Like
hang on.
they want to help.
Hang on, let me call you.
Calling me?
Yeah, I'm gonna call
No. You've already called me. So, but no, like
I agree with you.
they're willing to give their time up for free to help you out with your swing, and it's like if you're a bad person, they're not going to answer the phone call, right? But if you're a decent guy and they know you're a decent guy, they're going to pick it up. Or if it comes from a recommendation from one of your peers, right? Like they're going to help you. And the more information you can get from pros, it's just about different styles, right? Like I've learned from, like I said, 20, 30 people that I picked their brains, right? And some of these guys don't even know I did it, right? But I've called, for the most part, all of them, went to their studio and took a lesson with them, right? Did I leave there and say, wow, that just changed my game? No, I left there and I said, I'm going to take something from that, and that's going to make me better. And all of those lessons and all of those different thoughts is really what helped me the most.
It's a tool in the toolbox, right? Like, and I equate it to business because obviously, like, I'm just an amateur golfer. But, like, some guys are just good, like, give me the YouTube university and I'm good,
No,
right?
I can't do that.
And then other guys are like, I need to talk to every person I know. And then other guys are like, nah, man, I like this guy, and that is it. But I think Mike's onto something. It's like a tool in the toolbox. So, like, yeah, I'll go listen to some of Mike's, like, lessons and Nick. And when you're in there with your guys even, I just go over there and listen. And it's like, all right, well, yeah, Drew might be over there having a good time with his guys, and they're using the studio tonight. But there's, like, one thing that you just talk about. You're like, hey, man, try this. And I just, like, listen. And then I'll go over there and dick off on my own and try it. And that one thing equates to something. I can't consistently do it because I'm not putting in the work.
Right.
But it's the same thing with business. It's like you go and you learn all these different methods of how to invest or how to do whatever you do. And then it's like, just put it in your toolbox, right? And just stick it away. So now Mike, when he goes and plays at elevation next time, it's going to be like, all right, I know I got to club down or I got to club up or I got to do this or I got to do that at this elevation, right? And he'd have that on us. I played at Wolf Creek. We were at elevation in 40-mile-an-hour winds, and I didn't learn anything other than I can't fucking play in that shit, right? Meanwhile, Mike, if we ever went there, he'd be like, all right, we're at 3,000 feet. I know how far my ball's going to carry. Boom. He'll have game on us. You know?
Hopefully they won't have it in New Mexico often. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it being in Florida.
I feel like
I'm
it's always
sorry.
on the West Coast.
No, it's not. They used to rotate it. Now that they're at Frisco, it may stay there. I mean, they have it's like 4 courses they have there, so it may just stay there.
That'd be great.
I mean, look, I wouldn't mind. I mean, my wife's not happy about it because she goes, I don't want to go to the same spot every time, and she's like, we'll go once and then we'll never go back. Which, whatever, if that's what she chooses to do, if I continue to qualify.
That's
I hope
Dallas?
I
So
do.
then
Frisco?
you bring 3 people with you that will act
Dallas.
as your kids, and I totally can be little Mikey for the week,
Look,
and we will be your.
I'll let you
if
change
I go
me,
there
dude.
with you,
You
Drew,
can-
I don't.
I'll wear a diaper.
You may be a distraction out there. I don't know.
How would I
we'll
not
have to
be a
talk about
distraction?
that.
I will not be anywhere near you. At night, we're having dinners. You would laugh. You would have a good
Good
time.
time.
You'd
Yep.
be able to go to sleep. I wouldn't bother you. You'd like wake me up and like, hey, how you doing? You want to come like watch me play? And I'd be like, I'll probably join you in about like 30 minutes. I'll be up there. And then I'd get on a cart, and then I'd pass you coming in the cart, coming the other way, saying the restaurant's not open.
Oh, yeah, we'll have kart races, dude.
Yeah,
We'll have
oh,
such a
yeah.
good
The
time,
kart
bro.
races in Florida were great.
We'll have a
Yeah,
good time.
until I almost got hit head on. That was
That was your own fault.
no.
we got some
No,
off-air
all right,
stories,
hold
Sean.
on. So the best part of the kart races was, I think it was the last day we were there,
We were in Florida.
If you mention what I'm thinking we're about to mention, I'm gonna be so mad. But go ahead.
and we're in the cart, right? and who was it? It was Matt.
It was Matt.
And Matt and I are in the cart, and we were following Drew to drop the carts off. That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were going to drop the carts off, and Matt goes, "Pull up close. Watch this." So we pull up close, and he pulls like a James Bond move, and he jumps out of my cart into Drew's cart, grabs his high noon, jumps back into
The
my
only
cart,
high noon.
and I take off.
Yep.
The only high noon, and I had just cracked it, and I was so angry, and I was like, I cannot believe he got that close to even get it out of the cup holder. It was such a smooth move, like it was.
It was
That was
good.
It
gangster.
was James Bond type shit.
Yes,
dude.
it
Like,
was James Bond.
It was epic, but that was
That was the best.
that was a good move.
Whose piece
Yeah.
is blazing? Someone's
No,
piece is
that's
blazing.
mine. That's your partner, Dan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I called him earlier.
So getting back to the podcast, I want to say, I think what we have going on here in this new studio is awesome. I can't wait to have new guests on here. I think people need to understand that we aren't going to have, the flashy name every time. It's not going to happen. It doesn't ever happen.
And we don't
But
want it to happen.
We don't want that. We want it to be intimate. We want it to be something where people can come on here and talk about anything that they want to without being canceled. At this point, I think we are in a good place here. Michael, I think what you did out in New Mexico was extremely admirable. I think I'm proud of what you did out there. You battled through crossing the Oregon Trail. You got your clubs. You know,
Went on a treasure hunt to get his
you
clothes
did.
back.
You went. You know, you were able to spend time with the family. You went to a zoo.
Lifetime movie. What
You
else
know, you
got?
went to a zoo out in New Mexico. I mean, what could you possibly see at a zoo in New Mexico? Like
The same
I mean,
thing you're looking at in Philly.
That's
Yeah.
exactly my point. Like,
Dude, it's occupied the kids. Just let the kids have.
why
their
didn't you
time.
go try to teach them how to make math or something?
Yeah.
Like,
About the only thing in
Dude,
Albuquerque.
we were supposed to go to this waterfall. We drive an hour and a half, actually longer than that. We drive 2 hours to go to this waterfall,
it
right?
was dry.
No, it was closed.
How can you close nature, dude?
It was closed. The waterfall was closed. And I'm talking like we're high up. We're like 10,000 feet up and trying to go see this waterfall. And I'm like, I don't do well in elevation, right? Like, and I'm not breathing right. Like Nick's in the back seat. Like he's like getting paranoid, right? He's not breathing right. And it's closed. And let me tell you something. People were pulling over. I was driving so fast down that mountain to get back to like normal air. I was cruising. People were pulling over. It was quite entertaining. But no, I mean there was a lot to see on the way there. There's a lot to see in New Mexico.
Oh, I'm
we
sure
drove
there
up to
is.
Santa Fe. Beautiful little city there. Old like Spanish kind of city there.
Did you eat
That
some
was
Mexican
nice.
food out there?
Oh yeah, we ate Mexican food every night. The
Tex-Mex.
last day we were there, we went to this Mexican place. Oh my goodness!
Did
It
Nick
was like
run-
my daughter eats steak now because of the steak that we
What?
had.
Carne
at this
asada.
Mexican.
Carne
It
asada.
was
in the
all
house.
it was all local, all farm to table stuff at this Mexican place. I mean, it was awesome. I forget the name of it, but Star found it. I didn't find it.
So you guys now are going to do more of like a podcast where it's you two all the time, and then just like fill-ins and
Well, no,
guests.
well,
Like our
when
Ant-
Anthony can make it. So basically, the reason why it's more Drew and I's schedules, right? Like Tyler has his own business. Tyler is as busy as it can be, so he can't always make it. He can't always get on, on a Zoom either to connect with us that way virtually, right? And Anthony's the same way. Now that he's at a club and he's working more, he's there all day, every day.
and
So
he's going to get married.
yeah, and he's gonna get married, right? I mean, he's a busy dude, right? So like Drew and I really like this is what we do, right?
and
like,
you know what? It needs to really,
not that I'm not busy. I'm not trying to
No,
downplay
yeah.
that.
And-
I'm as busy as it gets, but
I think, it being something that, this isn't, we have this studio, we need to utilize it. So, you need to be in studio. It's not something where we want to, calling in is great, but, people want to talk to real people.
Yeah, this
in
is
real
way
life.
more. This is way more personable. I can tell you when I do my in studio versus my online pods, the in studio ones are way more better. I was about to say are my favorite, and they're way better because you can have a conversation, right? Like when you're on Zoom, you're sitting there like, all right, let me get this in. You don't know if people are feeling it. Like you can see it's feeling. When the intern's rolling his eyes for the last half hour, I'm thinking he's like, all right, I want to get out of here, right? Like you can feel that.
Yeah, but
But he should really be. He's an intern, so he should be supporting us.
But you're paying.
yeah, thumbs up nonstop.
Yeah.
Come on,
You're
Sean,
paying.
what are you doing?
Far,
Yeah.
But-
He should be passing out shots to us right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
he
Garrett.
asked. I turned him down. He did ask. I did turn it
He
down.
did. He just turned 21. I just wanna
Yeah.
know.
Oh, he just turned
Yeah,
21.
no, he
huh?
wants to go buy it. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
He just turned. I actually gave him the credit card the other day. I said, "Go buy some Miller Lights for Clubhouse."
Oh.
He walked into the beer store
Next-
cheesing.
Next time he gives you the credit card, send me a text and I'll tell you what to put in the fridge because
High nudes.
it doesn't need to be Miller Lite all throughout there. I do. What was it that you put in there? We do need to touch on this. What did you put in the fridge that my buddies liked the other night? I didn't touch it, but whatever.
Mason Dixon Distillery, I believe is the name. It's Mason Dixon. It might be brewing. I forget.
Okay, hashtag or at
it's Mason Dixon. I actually won it in a closest to the pin contest at one of our tournaments. I won a case of their seltzers, and then they gave me a bottle of bourbon as well.
Apparently, their seltzers were.
They are fire. They are. Wow, like, you don't even know there's alcohol in it. I was gonna
Really?
drink one actually
Where
during
was-
this, but I
where was
decided not
that?
to because I'm gonna go home. I'm actually late. My wife just texted me. She said it's after 8. I was supposed to be home at 8.
What's Star's number here? I'll just
No.
text her.
I
Does she
don't
seem
need
to
that. I don't need that.
911.
But no, it's Mason Dixon. It's really good. Great seltzers. Shout out to them for helping me out with the.
If you want to
another
give us
case of that, but
a
wouldn't cost-
sponsor,
yeah.
I'll start trying it. If it's good, I'll drink it instead of drinking the high noons that I'm.
It's
high.
And
good.
listen,
Take
if
one
it-
with you.
And listen, Mason Dixon, if you're smart, you'll just make it high noon flavored one for him, and just call it Mason Dixon High Noon, right?
By Drew.
Preach.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
I'm getting yelled at, so let's wrap this up. But I'm looking forward to the pods going forward.
Thank you for the conversation tonight. You know, you gave us some insight to something that, you know, some people may know, some people do not know. I appreciate your honesty, your struggle with what you had to go through to get there. You know, it was an interesting conversation. You got kind of boring a little bit, but, you know, I didn't want to embarrass you. But, you know, overall, it was really
Drew,
good.
you know I'm not good at telling stories.
I'm just
This is
kidding.
I'm the
I'm
last
just
person
kidding.
to tell a
I'm
story.
not good at insulting people either, apparently.
Yes, you are, but that's all right. But no, we'll get more into my story where I can tell more about that. I can talk about that. We'll have to do a couple pods on that though.
And you know what, guys, look forward to our next episode. You know, we don't know where we're going with it, but, you know, we're going to keep going and doing these things constantly. We want to put as much content out there so that people can relate with what's going on in our area. You know, I think our main focus is our area. This is our town. This is our area. We want people to know about it.
We want to talk to every winner of every golf tournament, find out how they won, what they did to get there, what they were feeling, right? Things that are relatable. It can be a net event. It can be, you know, two guys that just won their member guest.
Yep.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter what the tournament is. You know, we want to talk to everybody and find out, you know, how golf has had an influence or how it's changed their life or how it's affected them in some way, right? And feeling the pressures, you know. I mean, what's better than, you know, half our audience are amateur golfers. So what's better than finding out what those guys were thinking, or gals, right, that were thinking that won that member guest, you know, and what was going through
Speaking
their
of a member
brain.
guest, I got one coming up in a week, and it's actually 2 weeks from now. And
So do I.
I am not. I'm actually a little nervous, but, you know, we'll get there. Well, it's great stuff for the pod going forward. Want to give a shout out to everybody. Thanks for listening tonight, Ian. Thanks for coming on.
Ian's the best. We're gonna actually have a pod about Ian and his story too.
And we're gonna actually take him shopping. I'm gonna actually wardrobe him. He actually changed his shirt and everything tonight.
He does
so
actually look nice tonight.
He does look nice
Yeah,
tonight, but
he
we
does
got to
look
give
nice.
him a clean hat. That hat is so
that
faded.
hat's great.
Beat, dude.
Oh,
I need
no,
a
put the hat
haircut.
back on.
Dude,
Put the hat back on.
I'm
Jim
roughing
Furyk.
it right now, dude. It's,
All right.
it's bad.
All right,
Either way,
Sean.
Thanks, man.
Sean.
Thank you for everything you do, man.
We really appreciate it.
We look forward to the next time.
$20 an hour, intern.
All right. See you guys.